America, a nation built on big dreams and even bigger ambitions. From the wild frontier to the digital age, we've always been obsessed with the next horizon. But no frontier has captured our imagination quite like the final one: space. For over 60 years, one name has been the unsung hero of that obsession, a titan of engineering that has lifted our greatest hopes and darkest fears into the heavens: Atlas. But this isn't just a story about a rocket. This is a story about a national icon. It's about a weapon of war that became a chariot for heroes, a machine that carried our first astronauts into orbit and our boldest explorers to the far reaches of the solar system. And now, in 2025, the name Atlas is once again at the center of a cosmic mystery, linked to a visitor from another star system. So, what is it about the Atlas program that has America so hooked? And what is the strange truth behind the three-eye Atlas object that has astronomers buzzing? Stick around, because we're about to launch into the incredible story of how a missile became a legend. To understand America's obsession with Atlas, you have to go back to a time of deep-seated fear and global rivalry: the Cold War. In the 1950s, the world was divided, and the United States and the Soviet Union were locked in a silent, terrifying standoff. The threat of nuclear war was no longer a concept, it was a daily reality. The Soviets were making alarming progress with their own missile programs. America needed a weapon that could strike back from halfway across the world, a deterrent so powerful it would keep the peace through the threat of mutually assured destruction. The nation needed an intercontinental ballistic missile, or ICBM. Enter Convair, a division of General Dynamics. Their answer was a revolutionary and risky design codenamed Project Atlas. Development began as early as 1946, but it was a chaotic and difficult process. Early test flights in 1957 were explosive, and not in a good way. Rockets blew up on the launch pad or tumbled out of control just seconds after liftoff. But the pressure was immense. In 1954, Project Atlas was given the highest national priority by order of the president himself. This wasn't just a military project, it was a national crusade. The design itself was a marvel of engineering for its time. Engineers created a unique stage-and-a-half rocket, where two of its three main engines would be jettisoned mid-flight to save weight. Its stainless steel skin was so thin that the rocket had to be kept pressurized with nitrogen gas, like a balloon, just to stop it from collapsing under its own weight. Finally, on November 28, 1958, an Atlas missile successfully flew its full range of 6,000 miles. By September 1959, the SM-65 Atlas was officially declared the United States' first operational ICBM. It was a weapon born from fear, a steel titan designed to carry a nuclear warhead over 100 times more powerful than the bomb dropped on Nagasaki. The Atlas was America's shield, its sword, and the first critical step in its journey to the stars. The Atlas missile had secured America's defense, but its destiny was about to change. As the 1960s dawned, the space race was in full swing. The Soviets had stunned the world by launching Sputnik, and then, in April 1961, by sending the first human, Yuri Gagarin, into orbit. America was falling behind. NASA, the nation's young space agency, had a bold plan: Project Mercury. The goal was simple, yet monumental: put a man into orbit, see if he could function, and bring him home safely. But to do it, they needed a rocket powerful enough for the job. The suborbital flights of Alan Shepard and Gus Grissom on Redstone rockets were crucial first steps, but to match the Soviets, America needed to reach orbit. They needed the Atlas. This was a terrifying prospect. The Atlas was still a weapon of war, and its early test flights were notoriously unreliable, with a tendency to explode. To put a human being on top of that balloon tank design, a rocket so thin it had to be pressurized to keep from collapsing, was an incredible gamble. Convair established a separate production line to create man-rated Atlas rockets, where every component was tested and retested with triple the scrutiny of its ICBM counterpart. Then came the moment that would define a generation. On February 20, 1962, a specially modified Atlas D rocket number 109D stood ready on Launch Complex 14. Inside the tiny capsule named Friendship 7 was Marine Corps pilot John Glenn. The world held its breath. The Atlas roared to life, its engines burning flawlessly. 5 minutes later, John Glenn was in orbit, the first American to circle the Earth. For 4 hours and 55 minutes, he orbited the planet 3 times, proving that humans could thrive in the harsh environment of space. The mission wasn't without drama. A faulty sensor suggested his heat shield might be loose, a potentially fatal flaw for re-entry. Mission Control made the tense call to keep the retro rocket pack attached, hoping it would hold the shield in place. It worked. Glenn splashed down safely in the Atlantic, instantly becoming a national hero. The flight of Friendship 7 was more than a scientific achievement. It was a turning point. It leveled the playing field in the space race and ignited a fire of optimism and pride across the nation. The Atlas, once a symbol of Cold War fear, had become a chariot of American heroes, launching 3 more astronauts into orbit and paving the way for the Gemini and Apollo programs that would eventually reach the moon. The glory days of Project Mercury were just the beginning. As America moved on to the gigantic Saturn V for the moon missions, the Atlas could have faded into history. But it didn't. It evolved. Enter the Atlas V, operated by the United Launch Alliance. First launched in 2002, this modern marvel is the culmination of decades of refinement. It's bigger, more powerful, and incredibly modular, with the ability to add up to 5 solid rocket boosters to handle heavier payloads. But its most important feature, unparalleled reliability. The Atlas V is known as the Swiss watch of rockets for a reason. It has one of the most successful launch records in the history of spaceflight, making it the go-to choice for missions where failure is simply not an option. And what a resume it has. When NASA needs to send its most precious cargo to the far corners of the solar system, it often turns to Atlas V. It sent the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter on its way in 2005. It launched the New Horizons probe in 2006 on a record-breaking, decade-long journey to give humanity its first close-up look at Pluto. It hurled the Juno spacecraft towards Jupiter in 2011 to unlock the secrets of the gas giant. And, most famously, it launched the Curiosity and Perseverance rovers to Mars, 2 of the most complex robotic explorers ever built. But it's not just about planetary exploration. The Atlas V is a critical asset for national security, launching classified satellites for the U.S. Space Force and the National Reconnaissance Office. It has also played a key role in the commercial space race, launching communications satellites, and in June 2024, it made history by launching the first crewed flight of Boeing's Starliner capsule, once again putting American astronauts into orbit from American soil. From science to defense to commercial enterprise, the Atlas V became the quiet, dependable backbone of America's modern space ambitions, reliably delivering on its promises, one launch at a time. So, what about the 3I in our title? This is where the Atlas story takes a fascinating interstellar twist. In 2019, astronomers detected something incredible, the 3rd interstellar object ever seen passing through our solar system. Designated 3I Borisov, this cosmic visitor was a rogue comet from another star. For the first time, humanity had a chance to study a pristine piece of another solar system up close. But there was a problem. It was moving fast and would soon be gone forever. In response, a team of scientists proposed a daring mission concept named Atlas, which stood for Augmented Telescope and Launch System. The plan was to use a powerful rocket, like the Atlas V, to launch a high-speed probe that could intercept 3I Borisov. While the mission never got off the ground, the 3I Atlas concept ignited the imagination. It represented the ultimate expression of the Atlas legacy, America's readiness to use its most reliable tools to chase the unknown, even when it comes from another star. So, why is America obsessed with Atlas? Because the story of Atlas is the story of America's journey into space. It was born from our deepest fears in the Cold War, a weapon of unimaginable power. It became the chariot for our greatest heroes, lifting John Glenn and the Mercury astronauts into the heavens and proving that we could reach for the stars. It evolved into the quiet workhorse of modern exploration, the reliable backbone that carried our robotic explorers to Mars, Pluto, and beyond. And it remains a symbol of our unending curiosity, our readiness to chase down mysteries from other star systems. From a pressurized steel balloon designed for war to a launch pad for our wildest dreams, the Atlas has been there for every pivotal moment. It's more than just a machine of metal and fire. It's a 60-year legacy of ambition, ingenuity, and the relentless American drive to see what lies beyond the next frontier. And as we look to the future of spaceflight, to new rockets, and even bolder destinations, the legend of the Atlas will forever be etched in the stars it helped us reach.